Breaking news: Putin's trip to China will likely center on energy issues, but deals are unlikely. This week, Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit Beijing to meet with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, a meeting that will highlight the country's extensive energy ties. Between October 17 and 18, Putin will visit Beijing to participate in the Belt and Road Forum. The Russian leader said on Sunday that he understood China's desire for cooperation to be reflected in the BRI. Xi Jinping, President of China, is expected to meet with Vice President Joe Biden of the United States next month, so Putin's visit comes at a pivotal time. Russia, a $2 trillion economy, is fighting Ukrainian forces supported by the United States and the European Union, and the United States has warned China not to supply Putin with weapons. Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center Director Alexander Gabov said that the optics of the Ukraine war made it unlikely that China and Russia would make any major public deals at this time. According to Gabov, Putin is definitely guest of honor, and he added that the two countries would be discussing military and nuclear cooperation. At the same time, I think China is not interested in signing any additional deals, at least in public, said one expert, because anything that can be portrayed as providing additional cash flow to Putin's war chest and Putin's war machine is not good at this point. When Putin visited Beijing in February 2022, days before sending tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine, the two countries declared a no-limits partnership. To counter Western criticism of its growing partnership with Moscow in light of the Ukraine war, Beijing has insisted that its ties with Moscow do not violate international norms. The Chinese government has stated repeatedly that it is within its rights to work with any nation it sees fit. Focus on energy sector collaboration. Russia, a major oil producer, has strengthened its energy ties with China, the world's second-largest oil consumer after the United States, since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine. More than a third of all crude oil exported by Russia goes to China, where it is consumed at a rate of about 2 million barrels per day. When it comes to purchasing Russian oil, China ranks just behind India. Reuters has confirmed that Putin will be accompanied on his trip to China by energy moguls Alexei Miller and Igor Sechin of Gazprom and Rosneft, respectively. The Power of Siberia 2 pipeline, which Russia plans to construct, would cross Mongolia and have an annual capacity of 50 billion cubic meters, BCM. This would help Russia reach its goal of selling more natural gas to China. Whether or not an agreement will be reached on the gas deal, including the price and the cost of construction, is unknown. Military ties are also included. As the People's Liberation Army, PLA, works to modernize its conventional and nuclear forces by 2035, Russia is not only a major source of oil and gas for China, but also a rich potential source of technology. According to a 2022 assessment by the United States Department of Defense, Russia has been providing China with access to its aviation, rocket, and submarine technology for decades. China and Russia work closely together on civilian nuclear plants, including the fast breeder reactors at Xiapu, which have the potential to be used to produce military-grade plutonium. The fate of Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu, who has not been seen in public for over 6 weeks, casts doubt on the efficacy of any military cooperation between the two. One of the leading candidates to replace Li is General Liu Zhenli, who currently serves as the head of the military body responsible for China's combat operations and planning. Military observers in China will be interested to see who initiates cooperation talks with their Russian counterparts. Collaboration with no bounds. Russia-China trade increased by 30% in the first half of this year, following the no-limits partnership Putin and Xi announced last year. In February 2022, when Russia first began its military operation in Ukraine, the value of bilateral trade between the two countries was $21.18 billion. According to China's Minister of Commerce Wang Wentao last month, economic and trade cooperation between China and Russia has grown and become more solid under the strategic guidance of their two leaders. Trade between Russia and China is expected to increase to over $200 billion by 2023, Russian Economy Minister Maxim Reshetnikov predicted during a visit to China earlier this month.